Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to another edition of the Blacksmith's Furnace with me, Pete.
Man like Mo, heavy hitters once
We
again.
out here. We out here. Rob couldn't make it, but behold, the
Beating
heavy
for the
hitters are afoot.
fam. You love the voices of the heavy hitters. But yeah, so
Well,
good.
hopefully.
Gotcha.
People have clicked off right now, so nah. Well, that's what Robert would like to believe anyway.
Facts, because
Yeah.
he's a hater.
Anyways, um, shall we get started? Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah, so not sorry. One for one.
One for one
One for
again.
one thing.
Sorry.
Yeah, let's run a one for one thing.
Yeah. Again, I haven't even got a question. Stress. But I do have
Um.
a bank of questions. Let me go and find it.
Oh, okay. Flick through your Rolodex.
Rolodex, you know.
Come on.
Did you ever use a Rolodex? Have you ever used a Rolodex?
Nah, I don't think I have.
Hmm. Cool. All right, I've got a good question. I've got a funny question.
Okay.
So, I don't know if you know who Alan Parr is. Alan Parr with the beat. He's a
The
YouTuber.
name sounds familiar.
He's a Christian YouTuber, black dude.
With the
Alan
beat.
Parr. Yeah, I think he calls his show the Beat or something like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I've watched a couple of his videos.
Cool. He recently did a video addressing the question, should pastors have private jets? I
Mm.
think we've kind of talked about this before, but be interesting to hear your take. Should pastors have private jets?
As in own it like it's theirs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, I mean, if you can afford it as a pastor, then go for it. But if your congregation is affording it on your behalf, then that's problematic.
If you're setting up GoFundMe's and telling
Yeah,
your people to go and then pay for it, and it's
yeah.
interesting.
But if it's from your book sales, if it's from your businesses on the side, and you want to own a private jet, then do your thing. I'll still question: is that the best use of money?
Okay.
Um, And the reason I'll question if that's the best use of money is, from my understanding, having a private jet is not like having a luxury car.
Oh no, no, it's a lot.
Like the cost associated with keeping that running is much more. Um, there's a lot more weight to it.
Mm.
It takes a lot more to keep the private jet up and running. Um, you said you need to hire a private pilot. There's so many checks and
Oh no, there's yeah,
there's
it's
there's so much that goes along with it.
yeah, running
Um,
is ridiculous.
and I would be like, is that the best use of the money? But
By whose measure?
ultimately, just in general, especially as a pastor where your heart is meant to be for the people and stuff, having this running cost that's coming from your own pocket, I would almost wonder if this money could be used more charitably.
Regardless of however charitable he or she already is.
Yeah. However, and the reason I'll raise that question is fundamentally on the ongoing costs.
Okay.
That's like on the ongoing. If so, that's what I say. If you bought like $1 million house or $2 million house,
Mm.
like cool, do your thing. Obviously, there's going to be bills to pay, but
Yeah.
wherever you live, there's going to be bills to pay.
Mm.
You've just inflated your bills exponentially, but that's cool. It's household bills. A private jet is not a necessity. It's a
By
luxury.
whose measure? Again.
So if you really need to fly, you could go private. I mean, you could go first class. Like there's other means of doing it rather than owning your own private jet.
Hmm.
And that would be that. And again, you could, it's, as I said, it's not a necessity, because there are options around it that will still be luxurious, lavish, whatever. Um, but it does come back down to the fact of, bro, but it's your money.
Hmm.
So if you want to do that, enjoy your life.
Hmm.
I won't judge you for doing it. I won't be like, oh yeah, you're not a Christian. I won't particularly do that if it is legit like your money and it isn't the church that's funding it. If it is the church that's funding it, fam, I'm judging you. I'm judging you from the top of your head to the soles of your feet. I'm judging you.
What if
But if it's
it's
legit your money, yeah,
random? But what if it is the church funding it, but everyone in the church has access to it?
then it's not a private jet. It's a public jet.
Fair point. Fair point. It's a restricted public jet.
And
Man.
it defeats the purpose. It really defeats the purpose, because I am assuming that you would have a private jet because the ease at which you can just fly to different places without having to wait, charter a plane or whatever. You can just shoot off and go. But if everyone is using it, then it defeats the purpose.
Oh no, because then everyone can just have ease of flying, going and coming. You just have to manage your schedules.
Exactly. But what if
Which
you
is the
got a
same.
speaking engagement, which is the exact same thing as buying a
Yeah,
ticket?
yeah,
So it's
yeah.
no longer private; it's public.
Mm,
And yeah, it just. But if it's private, if it's yours and it isn't funded by the church, enjoy your life. I would still wonder, and for me, it will be more of a curiosity. Could you have used this money in a more charitable way?
Similar to Judas asking about the perfume. But cool.
Yeah. Oh, this guy's a pagan, you know.
I was like, yeah.
This guy is a pagan.
I was like, yeah.
As soon as I heard Judas, I should have known that Saturn sideways was coming.
Oh gosh.
Don't worry, I got your question pending.
I was like, yeah, I agree. Yeah,
But
no.
yeah,
Also gone.
yeah, no, go for it.
No, I was just gonna say I agree largely in that my only qualm would be, who's footing the bill, and if it's you, then I don't even ask the question, could this be used more charitably, because I don't feel like I'm in a position to ask that question with any authority. And as you said, it might just be a curiosity. You could always wonder, but I think that really is a very subjective thing.
Yeah.
What the money gets used for, because the argument could be made, or whatever the argument is, it's besides the point. I think I wouldn't even ask that question. The only question I would ask is who's footing the bill, and if it's you, then do you
enjoy your life?
but
Because even the reality of the situation could be that you owning a private jet is a charitable thing. Because the pilot you've employed was homeless, was whatever, even though he's qualified,
Could
he
be.
fell on hard times. So you're like, all right, cool, I'm gonna hire you. And then the place you're storing it could be another person's hangar who he's fallen on hard times, and so you're paying him to be able to do that. And so all of these things could all be charitable things. That are then and for me, I was like, all right, cool. Then there's an ongoing thing of people are benefiting and they're being blessed by your financial abundance. I'm like, like do that. And so for me, if it's just lavish for the sake of being lavish, again, it's your money, so you can do that. I would push back on not having the authority to ask that question, because I feel like we are called to keep our leadership accountable.
But I don't feel like what they spend their money on is something that what they spend their personal money on is something that we have to hold them accountable on, because it becomes a relativity thing. It becomes, well, this is a private jet, which is, X million pounds a year, versus these are Jordan 5s, which is, again, something expensive, again, something lavish. You could easily go Shoe Zone and get shoes, unless there's like a medical
Who
thing.
wants to get shoes on shoes?
Well, some of their shoes are okay. No, I would actually. I have used some shoes and stuff, but they don't
Do you know
last. But you're paying
we
nothing for
get
it.
shoes on shoes, but they're normally out of necessity,
Yeah,
not out of
yeah,
choice. So it's like,
yeah.
school starts tomorrow. We forgot to get shoes. Let's just get
I'm gonna
something to
grab
hold
some
them
shoes.
over
Yeah,
as we go
yeah,
get it. But it's, I think for me, it's not so much um the curiosity isn't from a policing perspective, isn't on a questioning why, or like, you're not allowed to spend your money in this way or that way, but it's also recognizing that the position you hold has a ripple effect. And so I don't have any qualms if you spending the money the way you want to spend it, but just recognizing that your position has a ripple effect. And if people see you operating in a certain way, it makes them, for some people, they believe they now have the license to be able to do other things.
like what? When it comes to owning a jet?
So depending on what, and this is hypothetical in terms of licensing and stuff. No, I
Yeah,
do it. If I went to a prosperity gospel church,
yeah,
and again, this is prosperity gospel, and I see the past. If I went SPAC Nation, when SPAC Nation was SPAC Nation, yeah,
yeah, yeah,
my man with the red bottoms, lubes, Fenty, all of them things
yeah.
there, I would think, and a lot of them thought, I need to run these lines to get these things.
But then that's not a problem with the pastor owning. That's a problem with their ridiculous doctrine.
Yes, yes,
So
it's
let
a
me
problem
throw
with the
this.
entire thing. Yeah,
Let me throw this hypothetical at you. You go to John Piper's place. So I know you respect that, Don. You go to his place.
I told
Someone's
you.
gifted him a jet.
Mm-hmm,
Someone's gifted it to him, and
mm-hmm,
someone's paying the fees for his use of the jet, whatever.
mm-hmm,
And maybe he's contributing, like, I don't know, X zero amount. So let's say he's not contributing anything, but it's for him. He gets to use it. It's been gifted to him. Would you, would he have to, in your opinion, would that still be an issue?
No, because it's a totally different situation. He didn't buy that himself.
Hmm. Someone else bought
It's
it.
gifted. Someone else bought it for him. It was gifted to him.
Yeah.
Um, and
But
the
shouldn't he
upkeep and
have
stuff.
asked if that money can be used for something more charitable?
Knowing John Piper's character, I know he would have
He
done that.
probably would.
Yeah, knowing his character, he
Yeah,
probably
yeah,
would have done that.
yeah,
And he it wouldn't have been a present that he would be jumping in joy, like, yes. It would be, it would actually be a necessity in the case of, and again, it's like his speaking engagements have exponentially increased
yeah.
to the point where he's constantly flying out.
Mm-hmm.
And it may be a quick stop here and a quick stop there, quick stop there. And it's not feasible to get plane tickets. And so someone gifted it to him. He didn't do it himself. Like, that's just from knowing his character, I know that that's what would happen. And again, it's a case of, if there is that necessity, bro, do you like more than, and again, I don't have any qualms if you using the money the way you want to use it. As I said, it is a curiosity.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
is a curiosity, but wealth is relative. And if
Yeah.
I'm making 50K a month, but I'm spending 25 on a new car, the same could be asked of me, bro. That's half of your annual salary. You're gonna have to upkeep that MOT, blah blah blah. Could you have used that a bit more charitably? Could you have bought a 5K car? You've got 20K left to be able to be more charitable with. I would have been like, bun you, it's my money. And so yeah, it's the exact same thing. Wealth is relative, and if they want to run that, then they can. Yeah.
No, fair enough. Yeah, yeah. Again, like I said, yeah, I agree, and even to the sense of it being a curiosity, yeah, I think, of course we can, and almost, I guess, and this is where I guess I would agree as well, is as a pastor, you sort of open yourself up to people wanting you to be transparent, and so open yourself up to that curiosity as well, because you're a pastor and because you are a
Yeah.
leader. It's a fair thing because we expect transparency of our leaders that someone might ask you. But again, I don't feel anyone's entitled to the answer, as
No, no, yeah,
I think you said.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. But yeah,
yeah.
no, fair enough. I'm good with that.
Sweet. Um, so my question is around the fivefold.
Oh gosh, I shouldn't have invited you today.
Ah! um,
Yeah.
so the question is, I have like this a skeleton of the question, but it's
Mm.
more so about relational harmony within the fivefold. Um, how so? How do you believe? How would you explain the Bible presenting the functions of each of the fivefold?
So in Ephesians, and I forget the chapter, of course, just now, even though we've literally been meeting that they've said it like a few times. Um, it's for the equipping of the church. It's
Yeah,
for building up the church. The
yeah,
gifts, the offices, whatever you want to call them, are for building up the church. The direction, the immediate prophetic word. No, I say immediate, the prophetic word, whatever God's saying, God, whatever God's heart is, the pastoral care, the doctrinal teachings, and the evangelistic efforts of the church, I think, are all for the benefit of the church, for the building of that church, the building of God's body, of Christ's body.
hmm
Sorry. Yeah. So that's what I think.
I the question was also, well, the question actually was, what do you think the function of each of the fivefold is?
Individually.
Yeah,
Um. So I think,
or each within the fivefold, not each of the fivefold, because that means
yeah,
there's
yeah,
multiple different fivefolds. So yeah, that
yeah.
wasn't
Yeah.
phrased properly.
So,
Sorry.
so I guess for the listeners, when we say fivefold, we're referring to the gifts of Christ listed in Ephesians. I should just find it first, man. It's
Yeah,
ridiculous.
it's apostles, prophets, pastors, evangelists, and teachers.
Teachers, yeah. Now I'm looking for the verse.
Yeah, figured
That
as
verse is
much.
it. Ephesians 5. So this is in Ephesians chapter
For
4, 11 to
of
13.
yeah,
And he gave some apostles, some prophets, some evangelists, some pastors, and teachers. I think the apostles and the prophets end up being the ones sort of that bring the, dare I say, the vision of the local church in that area. So wherever it is that um, the local place needs church wise, I think it's the apostles and the prophets that bring. I'm going to use a couple of different illustrations. The apostles and prophets, I think, bring whatever part of the body of Christ needs to be in that area, if that makes sense. So if it's an area that needs restoration in, I don't know, like I get, I'll use an example of maybe African American areas where the maybe this area needs healing from slavery and what's gone on there, you know,
yeah.
then I
I
guess the
shouldn't
church,
laugh. But,
I know we shouldn't love the church that's there. I think the apostles and the prophets will bring that aspect, or will bring that vision for the function of the body in that area as pertains to the people that are there, and that could be different for different places, and that could also be something that changes over time. But I think the apostles have that vision, the prophets have the word of God, sort of the heart of God for the people, and they bring that immediate thing there. Um, Once they're I think the evangelists go out, bring people in with the gospel, with God's the good news. The pastors, I see, take care of them, take apply pastoral, fatherly, motherly care to people, actually care for them, actually love on
mm,
them. And then the teachers bring good doctrine. The teachers bring a reverence and a acknowledgement of the Bible and its
Mm.
base for all of these things. And together, the church is built.
Dope. So the follow-on question from that, I know your answer already. I know your answer already because I think we've spoken about this. Um, are these roles binary? Are they static? Is it either, by binary I mean, are you one or the other?
Mm,
Um, and so if you're an apostle, that's just you. You're like zero, naught, naught, and that's you're fixed in that position.
mm.
Um, or does it fluctuate? Can you kind of move spirit supernaturally within different things? Like how do you feel the operation is for those who are operating within the fivefold?
Yeah. I don't think the Bible gives like hard and fast rules on this. The Bible does say God gives gifts without repentance and stuff
Mm,
like that. Um, but it doesn't say an apostle is only an apostle. It doesn't
mm,
say as much. So from what I've seen and from the way that it seems the Bible presents sort of Christian life, there is a need for one another. I say that because that then defeats the purpose of one person being everything and not
mhm.
needing anyone,
Yeah,
if that makes sense, or being everything and that leading to I don't need anyone. And so I
yeah.
don't think based off of that, based off of this being the way God has seemingly built the system of the church, one needing one another, us coming together in unity, I don't think one person will, I don't want to say sufficiently, but it doesn't seem like the Bible presents it that one person is all five and doesn't need anyone else. Um, it also doesn't present it as one person can only ever be one thing.
Mm,
I don't think it's like it doesn't present it as such.
mhm.
And what you will notice is you do have, or you do see, just anecdotally, we see people that are apostolic and prophetic, or that are apostolic and have a teaching bent, or the what I do notice is the apostolic tends to be capable of doing a little bit of everything. That's what I've noticed anyway. And again, I'm not, the Bible doesn't explicitly say that, and so that's why I hesitate to speak
Mm,
with any type of real conviction. But
yeah.
what I've anecdotally seen is apostles are able to sort of move in all these other areas. Um, and I find, for instance, teachers end up being they end up they tend to be mostly just on the word, and prophets tend to be mostly just in the skies, and evangelists mostly just go and preach,
In the
and
crowds.
yeah, and pastors just be like, oh, come and get a hug, come and get a hug. um, but again, I think we all sort of end up moving through, or not moving through, but I don't want to say categorically, but you end up having you can end up having more than one gift, is what I'll say. You can definitely
Mm,
end up having more than one gift. You can definitely end up moving in all of them, especially if you're an apostle. That occurs most with apostles. What I
yeah,
don't think is one person doesn't need anyone else and exhibits
yeah.
all of these in their full capacity. I don't see
Mm,
that happening. I don't see that happening outside of who Christ was.
yeah,
And it seems that is in line with the design of the Christian kingdom, needing one another, and
yeah.
church making us need one another, such that in unity, we
Mm,
can we can really flourish. That you see that with one chasing down 1,000, two chasing down 10,000.
mm,
That's doesn't make sense mathematically, except for
yeah.
that's how the Bible presents it.
It makes
And you
sense
see
supernaturally.
where one or two agree,
Hmm.
a thing is established. So there is this precedent of the Bible saying Christian society, or Christians in society, should need one another, even to the
Mm,
extent of saying that's how you should be identified, for your love for one another.
yeah.
So it's a long-winded answer to the question, but
Nah, it's
yeah.
good. It's good. And just for the listeners, that's like a classic non-dualistic answer in
Mm,
that some people within Christianity see things as being dualistic. It's either right or wrong. It's either yes
mm,
or no. It's either black or white. Whilst with God, we see that it's not that there's a grayscale, but God looks way beneath the surface than we're looking at, and so there are
yeah.
things in consideration that we don't even have an awareness of.
Mm.
So yeah,
Uh,
there's that non. Yeah.
No, so I was just gonna add because I think sometimes that's the problem with taking sides. Like
Yeah,
we see nowadays with you're either conservative or you're not, and it's like you can't
yeah,
be anywhere in between because there are some things that the Bible does present as binary.
yeah,
This is either sin or it isn't, sort of thing. It's not like
yeah,
you know you can do. There are some things that are no, it's hot or cold. The lukewarm you get spat out, sort of thing. So there are some, and I
straight.
think it's again it should be based on the Bible, and I don't. The Bible doesn't
Yeah,
present this in a dualistic manner. The problem I can
yeah,
see sometimes is where maybe you've looked at the dualistic things, and thus you say everything is dualistic. Then you have a problem because then you're assigning labels and stuff to things that the Bible hasn't assigned labels and stuff to.
yeah.
So that
I was
that's
gonna say as
that's the
well. I really enjoyed the segment about the apostolic being able to flow in different things, and you mentioned it's through observation, anecdotally, as opposed to being presented in the Bible. But when you look at the life of Paul, he functioned in all of it.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
He was the
Yeah,
evangelist, he was
yeah,
pastoral, he was teaching,
mm,
he was prophetic, he was like he functioned in everything.
yeah, absolutely.
And we
Yeah,
see the
good example.
same with Peter and John,
Mm,
in that they went out and they were speaking, and even as they were going out they were preaching on their way, and so it's like
mm,
they were being evangelical, or
yeah,
they were
yeah,
evangelizing as they were going out and
yeah,
stuff, and they were
yeah,
teaching and stuff like that. So we
yeah,
see the practicalities of it in the lives of the early day apostles.
mm,
um and yes, what I was going to say as well in terms of um the pastors and those outside of the apostolic, I think the apostolic mandate is the hardest one to have or to exhibit if you're not an apostle. So as a
mm,
pastor,
mm,
you can have a prophetic word without being a prophet.
yeah, yeah,
As an evangelist, you can do the same. As a
mm,
prophet, you can evangelize. You can have a moment of being pastoral. You can have
mm,
a moment of dipping into other things. And I almost see it as um, being led by the Spirit. The word that you use was based on your availability.
mm, yeah,
And so if you're in a
mm,
space and there is a need and you are available, God often taps into your
God,
availability to
mm,
supply that need. And if
mm,
the need is a prophetic word, but you're the only one as a teacher who is there and is available to provide that prophetic word, then
why not?
yes,
Yeah,
God will use you to dip into that need. Um, it doesn't necessarily mean that now I am a prophet.
mm,
It's like, no, I'm being used by God's Spirit. It's the same Spirit who ministers all of these gifts, all of these offices through us.
mm,
So it's not a far stretch for the Spirit of God to be prophetic in this person at this time, and
mm,
then be a teacher within the
mm,
same person at another time.
yeah.
Um, yeah,
I think it's
but
worth
yeah,
also recognizing even that the gifts of the Spirit allow for that.
yes,
which are distinct from the offices. So,
yes,
it's easy. You could easily, as you said, move in a word of knowledge, move in a word of wisdom, move in power, move in faith, move in
yeah,
performance of miracles, and not necessarily have that office.
hmm
Yeah. Again, I think my problem only ever comes where it's you have an evangelist who is, for instance, the head of a church, and thus that church is an evangelist church, and
yeah,
it's like cool, but you're bringing them in, and no one's giving them a foundation of doctrine. No one's actually pastoring them because they're
yeah,
all going out and they're all bringing people in, and
yeah,
the church is full, but full of broken, immature Christians,
yeah,
easily swayed by any wave of doctrine. You
yeah,
know, so yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah. Dope. I'm happy with that.
Cool. Cool, 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 cool. All right.
Well, is that beeping coming from your side?
Beeping.
Yeah, there's
Negative.
like a
No.
bong.
Bong. No. I may have hit the table.
Okay, it
But,
stopped now.
oh, it may also have been Zara's music.
Okay,
Yeah, she gets worship instrumentals played
yeah,
when she's
yeah,
in
it is that.
yeah. Yeah,
I just
apologies.
heard it right now.
Yeah, cool. Let me lower it down.
So good. I'm loving the Teletubbies next to the Hey Dougie in the corner though.
Yeah, Z was
Both
in
of them
here.
yellowish brown.
Z was in here earlier, and
You man
that's
actually got a Teletubbies.
yeah. I only got her Lala. I only got her Lala because she watched it and she liked it. This is me because Anita's like she's got too many toys, but I'm getting her everything. She watches a cartoon, she likes it. I go out, I see it, I get it. That's just, and I apologize later.
Zara's got you wrapped around her little finger, boy.
No, 'cause I feel like it feeds her imagination. So it's not just she has
Mm,
to watch it to sort of engage. She can then,
yeah.
and she'll have tea parties with them in her room, and and
Ah,
stuff. And it's like I feel like it feeds her imagination. But yeah,
yeah. And I guess being the only child as well, it kind of gives her more things to kind of
yeah,
engage with and interact with. Yeah, that's dope.
yeah. Cool. Anyway, side note gone. For those watching, yes, Dougie and Lala are in the building.
Come on.
Um, there was some more here, but I've thrown them into her room. Cool. So, what I had wanted to talk about actually would kind of be Robert's petty section, where we talk about stuff that's not been addressed in the group. And most recently, Robert put off Uncle Kirk.
Yes.
Uncle Kirk Franklin. Uncle Kirk Franklin wants to be a rapper now, because he
Do
still
you know
can't
what?
sing.
Yeah, I was being petty with that post. I was hoping so much that no one would respond to it. I was hoping so much.
Why?
As soon as you responded to it, yeah, I was actually gonna send in like an angry comment, just like, "Why did you respond?" Yeah, I was
Why?
vexed
What? So that we could do it here, or just because he didn't want to
just
engage?
because I didn't want anyone to engage with it. I'm
Yeah.
being petty.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, I'm gonna bring it up here, because as per, I don't. Did you watch the video, the
Yeah,
first
yeah,
one?
yeah. I watched it.
Man went down Baphomet as the goat.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
just for context, Kirk Franklin recently in a apparent freestyle that he did on BET, the BET Hip Hop Awards, um, with DJ Envy, who is I don't think he professes to be Christian. I don't see it in his language or in his actions. But he's a DJ. He's a well-known DJ. He's on the Breakfast Club. He was DJing for it, and one of his bars was like um, Biggie and Jay or something. So he
yeah.
mentions
Biggie,
Biggie Nas.
Tupac, and yeah. No, I think it
Yeah,
was Nas. I think it was Nas
yeah.
actually.
He mentioned some, big time hip hop guys. Um, the lion and the lamb will bow down to the goat. So he says like Biggie Nas and Jay or whatever, the greatest capable. Even the lions and the lambs will bow down to the goats. Again, I bet when he was writing it, he thought it was a bar, but that's sparked fury in I guess Christian YouTube. And
The Christian Mafia.
yeah, what the video that Robert shared, this guy says Kirk Franklin is referencing a demon, and he calls it the god of the celebrities, Baphomet, um, who is this god apparently on LGBTQ whatever about blurring gender roles and whatever. And he said apparently this is who Kirk Franklin is referencing. Kirk Franklin goes on to then explain that it was about it's hyperbole. He was doing the rap thing, and it's
Yeah,
hyperbole, not theology. Um, and so yeah, that's where he's at, and that's where all that's about. What do you think? In as much as he didn't want to engage,
yeah. Do you know what? My stance is very much just like yours. He tried a thing and it flopped.
yeah,
After I genuinely, I genuinely was like, yeah, you tried to bring some clever wordplay,
yeah.
but it didn't work.
I bet when he was writing it, he was like, "Ooh, this is so good."
I think so too. I think he tried to bring some clever wordplay, and I think as well, seeing the because it was a BET thing, and seeing the demographic that's going to be watching it and stuff like
Yeah.
that. He thought, let me try slip in some Christian language and nuance and stuff and try make
Yeah.
it bang and stuff like that. And it didn't work.
Yeah.
Or it didn't bang as much as he thought it was going to bang.
Yeah.
To the point of man them stretching it so far to
Mm.
I'm just like, I have
Yeah.
heard stuff around the goat. So even they were saying, one person said during the Jewish sacrifice, the high priest puts his hand on the goat, and then they almost like confess all of their sins onto the goat, and then they
Release
send them
it.
off, and almost this demon is mirrored after this goat.
Mm.
And this is the goat that they've almost taken back and they're worshiping. So they're worshiping the sins that
And
have been
okay.
dashed away and stuff.
Interesting.
So I was like, okay, I still felt like, okay, you might be reaching, but I can see the connections, I can see the dots.
Yeah.
I do feel like some Christians are looking
Mm.
to denounce people
Mm.
to validate their ministry and
Mm.
validate them as, nah, I'm here for God.
Yeah.
You're not about this.
Mm.
You've sold out. I'm still here, like rocking out for Jesus.
Yeah.
And it's a case of, bro, no, you're not.
Mm.
No, you're not. You're still in secret sins. You're still in stuff. And I can say that with some confidence, even though I don't know you, because we all fall short.
Yeah.
But it's and also my main critique for those people is we don't um we don't show. It's like the thing about, we don't denounce the bad by pointing to them. We denounce the bad by pointing to the good.
Mm. Mm.
We don't denounce false teachers by just spending our entire time saying this is bad, you're bad, you're bad, you're bad. But it's like, no, like, but by actively saying this is who God is, this is good theology, this is what we're trying to do. There is a balance between the two of being able to give good theology and then every now and then saying, now you man are flopping, like you're flopping, but this being the majority of what you do. But these guys just seem to have made the whole ministry about exposing other people.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like, that for me is very divisive,
Mm.
especially in a body that's meant to be about love. Is meant you're meant to be recognized by loving those around you. And the Bible's like, if you see your brother in sin, save him.
Mm.
James is like, yo, like reach out and snatch him out of the fire whilst being careful yourself, unless you fall
Mm.
into it.
Mm.
So it's like, yo, if I see man that, now you may not have connections to these guys,
Mm.
but prayer, bro, you could put in work, fast
Yeah.
and pray for these man them.
Yeah. You can. But yo, that's hard. That means I actually have to love you. That means I actually have to care. It's so much easier to sit over here and point.
And just fire shots for man them.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't vibes with. I do get their qualms and their worries.
Mm.
I don't vibes or endorse the first guy who just straight shut him down.
Mm.
The second girl, I vibes with her one because she was like, this is still giving me blasphemy vibes. So I'm like, and I hear you. I hear you on that. Because it almost leaves room for conversation. The first one just writes them off.
Yeah. So my issue with it is, I think it's so, as you so rightly said, I think it ends up being, I'm just waiting for you to mess up.
Facts.
Like, I'm literally just waiting for you to mess up, and it's not about what's your character shown consistently thus far, you know. And that's why I think even in my response, I was like, look, dude from jump has been gospel. Dude from jump has been, he sort of at every opportunity to be himself, he's been himself and he's been real. When he had an issue with his stepson or his son or something, and then came up cussing and shouting and all that, even that for me was, oh, it's obvious this guy's trying to hurt you by presenting this
Yeah,
because of the image that you have,
yeah,
and it was like, to some extent, that almost validated the image that he had. It's like, yeah, everyone sees you as this, but then they don't see this part of you. And it's like, the good thing I think was Kirk never presented himself as perfect or holy. You see it in his music. And so it comes out and it's like, no, this is clearly a father son spat. We all have father son spats. And yeah, Kirk got a bit more language than he puts in his music. Fine.
fam,
But, and so for me, it was, and I think this will come if you're I can't say the word. If you're
genuinely,
genuinely, like when if you struggle with a word and all of a sudden you can't say it at all, and
you
it's like,
can't say
no,
it at all. It's
even if
mad.
you've said it before. Yeah, so if you
It's
are
mad.
really trying, sometimes simplicity, man. Sometimes
Fam,
simplicity at 10:42, sometimes simplicity is the way forward. If you are really trying to discern if someone is good or bad, you look at the entirety of their work. Jesus did the same, Yeah, they're wanting to say he was the devil casting out the devil, and he points out that, well, how can the kingdom be divided against itself? But then again, when they were going to capture him, it was like, was I not with you day in day out?
fam.
Did you not see everything I was doing? Why are you coming with swords as if you don't know me? Because in this instance, you're like, yeah, we've got him. And so we're going to go on. And it's like, nah, and it's the same thing. I think
Yeah,
Kirk has consistently presented that he is actually a Christian.
yeah,
Um, whether he
yeah.
does too much, and that's what I was saying is, like, at this point, I feel like you chill, you do the elder statesman thing,
Mhm.
and you retire. But Kirk's still out here doing Sunday best, still out here wearing ridiculous glasses, trying to be down
Fam.
with the kids, and it's like, okay,
Kirk's
cool.
that uncle, boy.
And
It's
this is the
it to the
thing.
point of I heard a story. I think it's Kirk. They had invited Steve Harvey to
Mm,
host a Christian talent show,
right.
and the other judges were talking down on
Mm. Steve.
Steve Harvey, saying he's not Christian, he shouldn't be doing this, blah blah blah. He's still a sinner, this and that. And obviously, he caught wind,
Mm,
so he was like, "I'm just gonna quit because you guys don't actually want me here."
mm.
Um,
Who's Steve
and
Harvey?
then,
Quit.
yeah, he was like, "I'm just gonna quit." And then he was like, "But Kirk Franklin actually sat down with him
Mm,
and said, in this situation, they're the people who aren't showing the love of Christ,
mm.
not you. It's them that aren't reflecting the person
Yeah,
they're saying you're not reflecting."
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so there's all of these examples,
Mm, yeah.
and there's countless songs where he's like, "Yo, I'm one of you, man."
He doesn't present to be holy. This is the thing. He doesn't. And it's interesting because he is one of the people that actually doesn't present this idea that he is holy and he is like
Mm,
next to the throne of God, even in his music. And again, you can disagree with what he's trying to do to feed his kids. He's trying to work, but yeah, he's not presenting. So to then take one line and be like, yeah, it's blasphemy, when the rest of the song was actually good doctrine. Even if you hate the rapping, it was actually good
mm.
Christian.
You know, I
Like
didn't. I
it,
haven't. I was meant to have listened to the whole thing. I
it
haven't.
was professing Christ the whole way through. Like not even in like a subtle way. It's professing Christ the whole way through. Like you're not going to listen to that and think it was Eminem doing thingy.
Mm,
You're going to think, oh, this was a Christian professing Christ. There was one line. There was one line. It was a bad bar. It was a stupid bar. It wasn't even a stupid bar. Like the lions and the lambs saying those that are great and those that are quiet, they will all have to bow down to the greatest of all time. It's not actually that bad. That if you think of it, it's just the way that he
the
worded it, the
wording,
way he
yeah,
delivered
it
it.
was,
And you're
yeah,
not a rapper. You're not a rapper.
yeah,
You're not even like a super deep writer in your music. Your music is very simple and straightforward. This is what we love
bro,
from you, Garrick.
bro.
Like
Like Kurt Franklin, even in his albums, his OG albums, he was the hype man.
this is the thing.
He
You
wasn't
write it,
even the
someone else
singer. He
sings
was
it.
the
And that's
yeah.
what I'm saying. He
He
still
was the
can't
hype
sing, so now he's rapping. No.
man. And it's
Um
This is the exact same thing they did to Lecrae.
Is it?
When he started coming out with church clothes and stuff like that,
Yeah.
people were quick to write him off.
Mm.
Now, obviously, he went to the stages of like taking 116 out of
Was it taking
the
price out of the thingy,
yeah
the
out,
mission statement thing?
mission statement and stuff. But again, he went through a real challenge of questioning his faith,
Mm.
where there was a real rocking of his faith,
Mm.
and rather than the masses actually standing with him,
Mm.
they just denounced him and cast him off.
Mm. Mm. Yeah.
And now he's recently launched this initiative to reach, I think, 1 billion unreached areas of the world with the Bible.
Oh, nice.
And he released it out. I saw it on Facebook, but he's like, "This is the new mission. Are you going to partner with us in this?"
Mm.
And I'm like, the same mandem that you're denouncing, talking about, he's not on job, this and that. His company is like, yo, 1 billion unreached people with the word of God.
Mm.
They're going for half the population.
Mm.
Obviously, 1 billion is not half the population, but
Yeah, no.
1 billion is a mad number.
It's more than a lot of these guys do in their
Yeah,
bedrooms, cussing them
yeah.
out online. Yeah,
With the
no.
incognito browsers open at the same time.
Yeah, I think we, again, yeah, as you said, it's sometimes stretching, and it's trying to villainize and cancel and all these things that, again, don't show the love of Christ, and actually show that you're quite easily swayed by your emotions and don't do proper research on any of these things. But
Bro, do you know that a Christian rapper made a diss track for Lecrae?
oh yeah, but there've been Christian rapper diss tracks before. It might be the same one I'm thinking of, but there've been diss tracks. Yeah.
Bro.
Even Shailene had beef with them.
Yeah,
It,
yeah,
it
yeah,
wa-
yeah,
wasn't a
yeah,
diss
yeah.
track per
But
se, but it was a beef track.
okay. Shailin's one
You and your brothers are
was
causing confusion. You said that.
bro. Yeah, he vented a frustration.
Yeah.
I don't think it was a diss track, or
Yeah. It
but
was.
it was like, but the diss track that I meant that I saw,
Mm,
that I heard, bro. The entire track was just going for Lecrae's neck.
mm,
And the thing that hurt me is that this rapper, I had his out, like I vibes with him so much, and then I'm like, bro, what are you doing?
mm,
What is it? And it's like he had arguments against Lecrae that I'm like, I hear your arguments, but you've defeated yourself in your argument.
I'm just doing it like this. Yeah.
Because he was talking about what Lecrae. So I think it was Church Clothes when Lecrae was talking about something, one of the first tracks. And he was like, "Oh, you're throwing stones at the church. Like
Mm,
as a Christian, you shouldn't do that." And I'm like, "You sound like a Pharisee.
mm, mm.
You
We're just
sound
saying
like
the same thing.
the protection of the institution is more important than the people in it.
Mm,
Upholding these rules and these values and this facade is
mm,
more important than the people that's actually hurting."
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm just
I've
like,
had that
bro,
conversation
yeah,
before. Yeah. So we're cool with Uncle Kirk. We're cool with that.
yes,
Maybe still, but we're
yes.
cool with him. What about Pastor Mace? I don't
Okay,
know if
so
you saw his video.
I didn't see. I saw an article, but he was talking about P Diddy in the
He
article
was
that I
talking
saw.
about, well, so Pastor Mace, in the space of maybe 3 days, made
Mm.
two very different videos. In
Mm.
one, he had gone he'd gone off 50 Cent, using the N word, talking about who's got receipts, talking about P. Diddy's mom and how she's got
Mud,
receipts,
mud.
talking about people that are dead and that he's the only one with guts to speak to it. Cool. Um, and then I think like 48, 72 hours later, he's making another video. This time it was Pastor Mace, not Rapper Mace. Like you would, I swear, I thought it was like satire. He was there. He had to change his glasses to his reading glasses because it's more, professional. Talking in a very calm, talking in a very calm voice about how he stands by what he says because he had to speak their language, and we don't know what's going on and stuff and all this. I don't know if I don't think you've watched that. You need to see it.
No, I haven't. I'm on the thing right now.
Yeah, don't play. We'll get cut down. We'll have to add explicit to our episode. But what do you think of that? What do you think of that as a and I don't see people calling that out as hypocritical or
Yeah.
I do see Ruslan made a video about it and a few others have made a video about
Do you know what? Yeah. This
it. Is
is
that
gonna sound
justified?
bad. This is gonna sound bad, but I don't think anyone is actually convinced about Mace being Christian.
No, he's a whole pastor.
Bro,
Under guess who? Under guess who?
Creflo.
Mm,
Oh my days.
yeah,
Oh.
yeah, yeah.
Do you know what?
It is fruitful at the very
I
least.
had no context, but the guess was spot on.
Literally. But yeah, yeah. And yeah, I think that's more destructive. I think that's more problematic. In as much as we all have our things and we all do our things, there's also still, we are representatives, we're ambassadors. You don't just do anything. And if you just do anything, you repent. That's the thing. That's the whole Christian. You don't then stand by it. So, yeah, I find that more problematic than Uncle Kirk and what he was doing. But yeah, it'll be interesting to hear your thoughts when you watch the full thing.
Yeah.
I literally thought it was a joke.
I'm literally like, what? 21 seconds into this Mace video.
This
And
was
it's,
Rapper Mace. Is this Rapper
yes,
Mace?
and
Yeah,
it's 6 minutes long.
yeah.
And it's like, mother got the receipts, huh? I'm just like, bro, 21 seconds, you know?
He was on it. He was speaking their language.
Bro, so he's trying to be all things to all men that he may win some.
There you go. Including the clothes, including the chain. Yeah.
Bro,
Cool.
yeah. Do you know what? I do. It's like God can speak through a donkey.
True.
God can speak through a donkey. So God can use absolutely everything and anything to communicate his message. And so I don't deny or don't, but it's like you may be able to glean something.
From the Rapper Mace video.
No, not from the video, but from Pastor Mace.
From Pastor Mace. As a
Creflo.
pastor. As a pastor.
You
Yeah,
may be able
yeah.
to glean
No.
something.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
But that doesn't validate them as the position within the position that they're in. Because, bro, a madman on road, you can glean something from them.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean they're a pastor.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean they're called to speak to the nations. They may be,
Yeah.
but maybe not. So yeah, just because someone's in a in a position within the church doesn't necessarily mean that that's where they're meant to be. The person who put them into that space is the person who's sitting over him. I personally am not convinced by Mace as a pastor. I'll say that with my chest. I haven't listened to any.
We
of
haven't
his
listened to his sermons. Yeah,
I haven't listened to his sermons. I haven't followed his Christian walk. I haven't done any of those things, and I can't necessarily say, oh, because he did X. No, what I am basing it on is it's just because, bro, like I listen to explicit music. I do whatever, blah blah blah. But there has to be evidence of you bearing fruit in a way that displays the nature of God. And I believe, even with me not following his narrative, I believe conflict is one of the like tension and conflict is one area in which you get to display that.
Mm,
Um, and if, bro, Mace became Pastor Mace when I was in uni.
mm.
That's over a decade.
He's still released secular albums since.
It's over a decade.
Mm,
And for you to be a pastor
mm,
should indicate some sort of growth, maturity,
mm,
being given, being discipled, being trained, like something. And if all of that isn't in place, then the person who put you into that position needs to be held accountable because he's doing
mm,
man them a disservice.
mm,
That's like what Justin Bieber saying, "Oh yeah, I'm a Christian, cool, Pastor Bieber." What?
yeah, yeah,
Like that don't run.
yeah.
You're skipping over all the man them who actually have a heart for God. And we
You're
know why
skipping
you're
over
skipping
your
over the man them.
own. You're skipping over your own maturity in your heart for God, to then go and then what you cover someone else with that. Like
Bro,
that's
because he wants
dangerous.
the jet. Because obviously Pastor Mace will feed into the private jet.
Hmm.
But
Yeah,
yeah, for me, it's a dangerous position to be. The Bible tells us, do not put new believers into a position of power,
yeah,
because the devil will tempt them.
mm,
It isn't
mm,
an if, but maybe will tempt them.
yeah,
They need to be grounded in their faith.
mm,
Now we've got this man here. You've got young people, impressionable young people looking up to him. And not even just young people. You've got women who would have been flaunting themselves at him when he was a rapper.
mm,
Bro, just because he's a pastor, don't mean women ain't gonna go after him.
yeah, yeah,
And all, yeah. So my thing is just, if you're, and I hold, if you are in a position of leadership, I hold you to a higher standard.
yeah. Because God holds you to a higher
Yeah,
standard.
and even in a secular space, I hold you
Mm,
to a higher standard.
mm, mm,
Because the impact of every single one of your decisions reaches further than you recognize.
mm,
And so there's more of a requirement for integrity within you as a person, within your character.
yeah,
And even more so when you're in the faith. Like, James, not everyone should want to be teachers because you will be judged more strictly.
yeah,
So I will hold you to a higher standard.
yeah,
You're not going to be perfect, and there should be grace in me holding you to this higher standard. But you need to be actively pursuing God and trying to walk in his way and stuff like that. Just,
yeah,
yeah, but bro, 21 seconds in,
yeah.
and I've already heard it like 4 times.
Yeah.
Man, bringing, yeah,
I've
boy,
got one
yeah.
more. I've got one more random thing because I saw. I think it was on the video that Robert sent as well. Um, we haven't got time because we're 58 minutes in, but just I guess yes or no question. Have you watched? Do you know Sunday Best? Have you watched it?
No, no, isn't that the competition? Um,
Competition. Yeah.
yeah,
So Sunday Best is it kind of the voice for worshippers.
okay, yeah.
Quick question: can you judge who is a better worshipper?
No,
This whole show is based around finding
you,
the best worshiper, not the best singer. And they like, I haven't watched it in years. I haven't watched it in years, so they might have
mm,
changed by now. But like a whole thing was, no, 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 you can be a good singer, but are you a good worshiper? And you've got a panel of 4 people who are judging whether or not you are a good worshiper. I'm not even gonna get into it. The thing I wanted to ask was, is the church ready? And I'm quoting someone here. I'm quoting someone. Is the church ready for a transgender worshiper?
oof. I did see that video.
Yeah,
I didn't finish it, but I did see that
yeah,
video.
yeah.
And no, the church isn't ready for a transgender worshiper.
I guess the question
Not
should rather be,
publicly, anyway.
I guess the question is it something it needs to be ready for? But
I don't.
where
Just I don't think my response is I don't think the church. I don't think the people, because I feel I'll put a difference between the church as in the entire body. Because if you are if you love Jesus, you are the church. You are part of the church, whether the church is ready for you or not. That's their
if you
problem.
love Jesus,
If you love Jesus,
if you
if
love
your heart
Jesus,
is really with him,
yeah.
you're already a part of you're his bride. You're
But
part of
if
his bride.
can you love Jesus? Can you believe in a perfect God and believe that He made a mistake putting you in the wrong body?
And that's where I believe sanctification comes in.
How
So I
so?
believe there's that process of you moving more
Renewing
and
your
more
mind.
close, renewing your
Okay.
mind, renewing your heart, and moving closer to the image that he made you in the first place.
Mm,
And I do believe, and this is a generalization, but I do believe that there is some trauma and stuff for most people around
mm,
their identity. And so there has to be healing there.
that's
Um,
definitely something I've overlooked.
yeah.
That's very true. Very true.
Um, so there has to be some healing there, even as you move towards this wholeness and accepting who God has made you.
Mm,
So if at this point you are a transgender worshiper, I'm just like, yo, you're part of the bride. Like, do your thing,
mm,
worship God. If it is God you're worshiping, then who am I to stop you?
mm,
Your worship ain't to me, it's to God.
mm,
And he
mm.
accepts your worship. So I'm just
Very
gonna
good.
stand and worship with you. So the
Very
church
good.
ain't gotta be ready for that.
Mm,
Like we need to check our hearts
mm, mm.
because you're not worshiping me. So
Yeah,
I can't reject your worship because it's not for me.
fair enough. That's a good point. That's a good point. That's a good point. I definitely overlooked that just because from the video, it sounded more like, nah, this is me. And also, it wasn't like, this is something I'm going to grow into or understand. It was like, oh, no, no, no. I was in the wrong body and I'm a worshiper. And I find something there. But anyway,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, you're right. You're right there. There's a lot more nuance to it than just that. So that's very fair. Um, cool. Hookups.
Hookups. I'll go
I feel like you've
first.
got a standard hookup though.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah. For this
you
month,
got
it's a
that.
simple thing.
Yeah,
Instagram at HMuseH. I've
yeah.
got the digital exhibition popping. It's still popping off. It's a poetic thing, the poetic form of nature. So we're exploring 2 images every week and linking them to a poetic form. If you go to the Instagram page, the dates that each picture and what the name of the picture is dropped there. So yeah, that's the thing. Man, them are showing me love. Um, even if you're not fam, I'm doing what I'm doing in it. But yeah, just appreciate the guys who are showing me love thus far. Yeah, there's more in the pipe. There's more in the pipelines. More exhibitions. Like God's actually been chopping up with me about more exhibitions, so I'm excited about that. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. So yeah, H Muse H, like, follow, subscribe, all of that. Yeah, I'm gonna drop my affiliate links up in the thing. All of that.
Affiliate links to what your Instagram.
To Amazon, baby. Actually, nah, I might start selling prints.
Yeah, no, and it's been dope pictures so far. Like it's been really good. It's been really good. I only have 15 minutes, so I've got a timer 15 minutes per day on Instagram. So
Okay.
I get on there and I have to search for you real quick, especially if you haven't posted it like immediately. I gotta search for
Mm,
you real quick before my timer
I
runs out.
appreciate that, man.
But yeah, but I think I've
15 minutes.
even
That's
missed.
an
I
hour
think I've
stringent.
missed. I've missed liking some of them. But the most recent one was Parable, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
parable. That
dope.
was today.
Yeah, cool. My hookup, and this is going to be very, very specific to a specific group of people, but after years of having a painful end to a manga,
Boop, boop, boop,
we
boop.
have we have the Thousand Year Blood War anime released I think it was last week. It was last
Yeah,
week,
yeah, it was
Thursday.
last week.
Every Thursday. Yo, let me tell you,
Every
don't,
is out today.
it's out today. Don't watch Bleach before going into MMA. Because at some point, you're going to whisper to yourself, long guy. And you're going to forget that your cardio doesn't match Ichigo's.
bro, bro.
Yo, check out Bleach. It's even more accessible because it's on Disney Plus. So you can check out Bleach on Disney Plus, the new season, animated by a dope studio. Yeah, and I mean I haven't even watched today's episode, but last week's episode was just hype. Just
Bro,
hype.
bro,
Yeah,
the introduction of the characters alone had me flinging my iPad.
just
Had me
hype.
flinging my iPad. What?
Oh man. So yeah, now check that out. That's my hookup is Bleach, Thousand Year Blood War.
I got work
On
to do, but I might go watch Bleach and then go to sleep.
yeah, I'm being tempted. Yeah, I'm tempted. I'm very tempted. But yeah, man. Yo, thanks for chilling with us. Thanks for watching.
Yeah,
Thanks for listening. You can find us on social media at the Furnace UK on Instagram. Um, I don't even know who's checking that.
bro.
TVS Furnace at hotmail.co.uk is
I've
the
been
email.
slacking with that so much, man. So much.
Um, You can find us on all podcast websites and all podcast apps. Just search for The Blacksmith Furnace with an apostrophe. We are based on SoundCloud, soundcloud.com/The Blacksmith Furnace without an apostrophe, and you'll find us. And yeah, get in touch, man. If you hear anything you disagree with, anything you agree with, I
Come
think
on.
we definitely don't want to present ourselves as know-it-alls or so advanced that we can't take. I think we all have a white belt mentality on the furnace.
Yeah,
We're all
yeah,
willing
yeah.
and open to learn. But yeah, this will be the furnace signing out.
Blow. Bunkai.